Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
The blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Never say die. Never say die. Keep on. Never say die. Blackness. Never say die. All of this.
In the midst of sorrow, you can see up and down. A brighter day tomorrow will bring. Oh, you hear the voice of reason telling you this can never be done. No matter how hard reality seems, just hold on to your dreams, yeah.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, joining you live in afternoon drive time here in LA. I'm in touch, so you be in touch. Follow me on all the socials at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ. And there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you will keep up on all the episodes. And last but not least, be sure to download the KBLA app, because that way you can listen to us live or on demand, anywhere you go. Listen, let me just say how excited I was this morning. I heard some of the best news I've heard so far this year, and I want to share it with you. You all might remember last year, you had a chance to meet my high school best friend, Jazz Summers, who is the writer and director of the movie Stay, which you can stream on Hulu. It is a supernatural thriller with a hidden love story. It's a genius film, if I don't say so myself. And Jazz has been working on this project for at least 10 years. And you know what it's like when your close friends who are like family are committed to something, and you know what it's like to like root for folks to win and to get that public affirmation of their genius. And so it has been an enormous pleasure to watch Jazz get his flowers. And today was no different. This morning, I woke up to a text message from Jazz telling me that he was nominated for not one, but two NAACP Image Awards. One award, the Outstanding Breakthrough Creative for Television, and the other was for directing Stay. And so I am over the moon excited for him. Over the moon. And I'm excited for all the NAACP Image Award nominees. It's all going down right here in LA. The end of February, I think it's February 26th. And so we're going to be there in full effect. But I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my high school best friend, Jazz. This is a major, major, major achievement. It's always an honor just to be nominated. And I'm going to need a sedative when Jazz wins because I'm that proud of him. And I'm proud of just the Black excellence, this class of Black excellence in the form of NAACP Image Award nominees. So there you have it. Now it's time for our national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, Trump is calling for a 10% cap on credit card interest rates. This actually may be some welcome news. The president has floated the idea of putting a 1-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10%, saying that they really abused the public. And I'm not going to let it happen. In 2023, credit cards began shooting to new highs. Credit card rates began shooting to new highs. And as of November 2025, the average rate was, get this, 22.3%, according to the Federal Reserve, though many cards have terms well above that. A decade earlier, the credit card average was 13.9%. 13.9%. And so the rise, in case you're wondering, is it's partly due to the high number of delinquencies or credit card balances that are past due, as well as the Federal Reserve's elevated interest rates over the past few years. Although the central bank cut rates not once, not twice, but 3 times last year, rates still remain between 3.5% and 3.75%. And so, look, I know a lot of folks don't agree on a lot of things this administration is doing, but when it comes to affordability, employing a 10% cap on credit card interest rates, that's going to help some folks get some breathing room. In our last hour, we were talking about David Letterman, who's out there saying the quiet part out loud about the changes, the swift changes that are being made over at CBS News. And he's not the only one. Golden Globes host Nikki Glaser, she slammed CBS News while she was on CBS. Nikki Glaser is calling out CBS while on CBS at the Golden Globes during her opening monologue at Sunday's Golden Globe Award ceremony. The comedian took a jab at the news department of the same network, saying, quotes, "And the award for most editing goes to CBS News." Yes, CBS News, America's new place to see BS news. Ouch. But where's the lie? Just saying. Congratulations to all of the Golden Globe Award winners. It was beautiful to watch Tiana Taylor after her Golden Globe win for One Battle After Another. Her acceptance speech was quite memorable. Hat tip to Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler and the team, the Sinners team, for their Golden Globe win for cinematic and box office achievement. That's a big deal. I know that Michael B. Jordan was nominated for Best Actor, and he didn't win it, but Sinners did not go home empty-handed. And so that was really, really, really special to see. And Cynthia Erivo, looking through my notes, Cynthia Erivo was connected to a project that also won. And so congratulations to Cynthia as well. And it's the beginning of award seasons, and so more to come. And some people say awards, what does that matter? Oh, these awards really signal what's afoot in our culture. What kind of art people are consuming. Art imitating life, life imitating art. What's going on? And so it's important that you always pay attention to the artist in every culture, because they have a way of meeting the moment and really being a reflection of the times that we are living in. And so when we come forward, we're switching gears. I am really excited to welcome my next guest. Her name is DeAndrea Cantrese. And she's a certified confidence coach. She's an author, she's a speaker, and she's an anti-trafficking activist. She's founder of Unmute the Silence. It's a human trafficking awareness and advocacy initiative that was born from her lived experience. We're going to talk to her about that and more when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. I'm really delighted to be in conversation with my next guest, DeAndrea Cantrice. She's a certified confidence coach. Who knew that the confidence coaches existed? But we're going to find out all about that. She's an author, speaker, and anti-trafficking activist who's founder of Unmute the Silence. It's a human trafficking awareness and advocacy initiative born from her lived experience. DeAndrea, welcome to A More Perfect Union.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Sure. Well, thank you for being here. Well, first things first, let's talk about your lived experience as an anti-human trafficking activist. That is some heavy activism. Talk to us about what got you into anti-trafficking activism.
A phone call at 3 a.m. from a detective in Iowa that was called out on a domestic call involving my daughter. And when he arrived on site, he suspected human trafficking. And that right there changed my world, because when we think of human trafficking, we think of the movie Taken, we think of someone locked in a basement overseas. So when I found out that it happens to us, it's happening to us, that is when I took my pain and turned it into purpose.
Wow, what was that like, getting that phone call about, of all people, your daughter?
Yes.
I mean, were there any signs? Did you see any signs that she was in danger of being trafficked? Was this completely out of the blue, or were there some precipitating events?
Completely out of the blue. Getting that call, I sat up for a minute. I even Googled human trafficking because I was like, wait a minute, like, did he really mean that? And I went to bed. I went back to sleep because I thought maybe it was a dream. And I woke up to find out it was not a dream. It was actually a never-ending nightmare. And no, there were no signs, so to speak, of what we would think of as signs today. So who I thought was her boyfriend was actually trafficking her. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't look like what people would assume it looked like. And I didn't know what to do. There's not like a 1-800 number you can call for support for families. It's not like you can go to your pastor or a counselor, because it's something that is so prevalent in the Black community, but yet still it's not talked about. Go ahead.
Well, no, I really appreciate you mentioning that, and that's exactly where my mind was going about, how human trafficking shows up in the Black community. I think there are some out there that might think that this is not an issue, major issue that impacts Black folks. It may impact white folks and everybody else, but not Black folks. But that's not what I'm hearing from you.
No, about 40% or more of sex trafficking victims are Black.
40%.
40%. Yes. And human trafficking is $150 billion industry. And 99% of that, or I should say 99 billion of that, comes from the commercial sex trade. So when I say commercial sex trade, we're talking about the strip clubs, we're talking about porn, etc. So I heard someone once say, in reference to the Diddy trial, you can't traffic a prostitute, but they don't understand a lot of times these girls and young men sometimes are prostitutes because they have and are being trafficked.
So it's like survival sex.
It is. And these, what they don't understand is there's no white van that's pulling up, snatching girls off the street. It's actually a guy that is showing up to fulfill a need, whether that need is love, security, attention, respect, money, housing, weed, whatever that need is. And they come in and they coerce these girls. They promise them a life, and then slowly but surely they begin to love bomb them. So it goes from this knight in shining armor to this monster that they have no idea who he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, just as you were sharing that, you made me think about an interview I did years ago with the founder of the Black and Missing Foundation. Are you familiar with the Black and Missing
Yes.
Foundation?
Yes.
And one of my big takeaways from that conversation was that oftentimes law enforcement is late to the party when the individual that's missing is Black, because they are quick to think, well, maybe they ran away, or the idea that they were taken, the idea that they may have been a victim.
Correct.
Sometimes there are some mental hurdles that law enforcement has to get over and don't get over quick enough, and it ends up negatively impacting their ability to solve the case and return people home safely. Have you found the same when it comes to human trafficking and Black folks? Are law enforcement too slow to consider human trafficking afoot when it happens?
Well, yes. And I can't even blame law enforcement. It is really a cultural issue. And when I say cultural, Black women, Black girls, we're the least protected of any class, of any race, of any socioeconomic stature. So what ends up happening is we live in a culture where we're sexualized, we're fantasized, we're adults, and then you see a little girl, oh, she's fast, or oh, she must want this, or she could have just walked away. And one of my favorites that I always hear is when we think of trafficking, we don't understand that Black women, we're taught and we're told that we can endure anything, that we're strong and we're the backbone and this, that, and the other. So our resilience actually turns into silence. So when we do speak up, when we do raise our hand, what ends up happening is it's dismissed. We're often treated like, instead of victims, that they're the criminals. So what ends up happening is, more often than not, these traffickers know they're not going to have to go to a long, lengthy trial, because no one's going to believe this Black girl. No one's going to believe that she was prostituted or whatever the case may be, when in fact she was. My daughter's case is a rare case in terms of her trafficker was sentenced to 27 years federal time, which is basically unheard of because the average trafficker gets about 10 years.
And they come out and oftentimes return to trafficking, no?
Absolutely. Because what happens is there is not a system in place that takes them from victimization to rehabilitation and, back into society. So what happens is, okay, this pimp has completely controlled their lives for whatever period of time it's been. So you're talking about someone having complete control over your time, your money, your resources, and whole 9 yards. So they take this trafficker, but with that, it took their livelihoods. So where do they go? They end up staying on the street. They end up getting caught up with another trafficker, or whatever the case may be, turning to drugs or what have you. What I always say is, if you look around, you can probably find a 60-year-old pimp, but the chances of you finding a 60-year-old prostitute is slim and far in between.
Can we talk a little bit about the often misunderstood ways that exploitation actually happens? Because I think sometimes we have an antiquated idea of how the exploitation happens. Earlier in the conversation, you mentioned sort of white vans pulling up and pulling people off the street. That's not so much how human traffickers roll, maybe how ICE rolls these days, but it's not how human traffickers roll. Talk to us about the often misunderstood ways that exploitation is actually happening.
it starts out with a need. And I'm going to talk to your viewers who are in college or what have you. We always think, let's protect our babies and whatnot. My daughter was in her early 20s when she was trafficked. We live in a day and age where everybody is about image. Everybody is about this instant gratification. So what happens is you get a young guy who wines and dines a girl. He may take her out for the weekend, buy her the finest of fine things, take her to the 5-star restaurants, etc. And there's nothing wrong with it. A queen should be treated like a queen. However, if you just met this man at noon on Thursday, you have not said or done anything that warrants him spending $5,000-$10,000 on you in the first 24 hours. So then what happens is, now I've wined and dined you. I need you to make my money back. I spent this money on you, and I'm going to beat you. I'm going to coerce you. I'll threaten you, do anything until you give me my money back. And that's one way. Some of the ways it may take, it's a very calculated crime. He may groom his victim for 6 months and then promise this life of, hey, what we need, you do understand, hey, if you just do this for this little while, we can make the money and we can open a business doing X. But what happens is the exploitation happens with no end. Mm-hmm. And this business idea never comes to fruition because it's just all about that control and exploitation. Yeah. And, and once they're in it, it's hard to get out. One of the things that my daughter's trafficker told her is, oh, your family's not going to want you. Your family's disappointed in you, and this, that, and the other. And I said, well, how would you listen to someone who's never met me? You should never allow someone to tell you anything about your mom.
When we come forward, I want to pick up on that point, the sort of psychological games that traffickers play with the folks who are being trafficked, and what signs folks should listen for, what should parents and guardians look for. Also calling all unks and aunties, because we need to rally the village so that we know better and can do better to guard against human trafficking, which is more of an issue in the Black community than I suspect most people think, with 40% of folks being trafficked being Black. More with DeAndrea Cantrese, the founder of Unmute the Silence, when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The White House says it stands behind ICE as nationwide protests continue after the fatal ICE shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis last week.
They are actively trying to impede law enforcement operations.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called the protests hard to understand and defended ICE's action, saying footage shows Good used her vehicle as a weapon and confirming more agents are being sent to the area. Florida Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins has entered the Republican primary for governor, saying leadership is, quote, forged under pressure, not sound bites, end quote. Trump-endorsed Congressman Byron Donalds, who is Black, dismissed the challenge, calling rivals anti-Trump rhinos and pointing to polls showing Collins with single-digit support. And Black music producer Antonio L.A. Reid has reached a confidential settlement with former record executive Drew Dixon, who accused him of sexual assault and career sabotage. Dixon says she's ready to return to music after a long legal fight. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Stall in West LA on the 405 South at the 10. It's off to the shoulder now. Delays from Santa Monica Boulevard. Also, let's head out to Universal City for the 101 northbound Universal Studios Boulevard. They've got a crash out of lanes, but the drive is a mess out of Hollywood away from Melrose. Then we're heading out to Calamasa. Car fire 10 east before Cherry Valley Boulevard. Right lane block delays from Yucaipa Boulevard.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Keep your radar up on probable changes coming with the Chargers, especially on offense. The Chargers have lost 3 straight first-round games in the playoffs. The Chargers' last playoff win was in the 2018 season at Baltimore. In 2 playoff games with head coach Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers have scored a combined 15 points, just 3 field goals and 1 touchdown. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman should get a head start on updating his resume. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites over the Chicago Bears. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is dealing with a sprained finger on his throwing hand. He said he's going to play Sunday in Chicago. Top 5 women's college basketball teams in this week's top 25 rankings: UConn, South Carolina, 15-1 UCLA, Texas, and Vanderbilt. UCLA moved up a spot from 4th to 3rd. USC, which has lost 3 straight, dropped out of the top 25. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me!
National news of consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really delighted to be in conversation with DeAndrea Cantrese. She's the founder of Unmute the Silence. It's a human trafficking awareness and advocacy initiative that was really born from her lived experience. We've been talking about her daughter who was trafficked by her boyfriend in her early 20s. That reality has shaped how DeAndrea's life has unfolded. It's also shaped and clarified her mission to expose the hidden, relational, and often misunderstood ways that exploitation actually happens. And she's really about ensuring that families and communities are no longer left unprepared. I didn't know the extent to which Black folks were impacted by human trafficking. I was surprised to learn during our conversation upwards of 40% of Black folks being trafficked in the United States today. Before the break, we started to talk a little bit about some of the psychological manipulation that is afoot. And I want to give you an opportunity to share with our leaders, learners, and listeners, what should the moms and dads and the uncles and aunties, what should the village be paying attention to when it comes to how these traffickers manipulate the psyche of the folks being trafficked, how they effectively turn them against their family and their loved ones?
Well, I'll use my own situation to share. I was able to tune in to the trial virtually. And one of the things that I heard, of course, was that, he beat her, he raped her, he hogtied her, he burned her. And I'm listening to this. But I remember prior to the trial one day, she said to me, he never wanted to have to make a phone call to tell you something happened to me. He kept me safe. And I thought about it. How somebody who hogtied you kept you safe. But on the flip side of it, what she heard is, I'll keep you safe. But what he was saying is, I don't want to have to call your mom and tell her something happened to you, which was more of a threat. But what she heard was someone who was rendering safety and solitude. And that is just a minute way of showing how the manipulation happens. And so when we as parents and as, uncles and aunties, the number one thing I tell them is don't be afraid, be aware. I'm like, put that on a t-shirt, put it on a bumper sticker, because you can't put your children under lock and key and say, okay, well, I'm gonna keep them away from the boogeyman. The biggest mistake I made when raising my children is I raised them in an area where nothing bad happens. So I never taught them about the boogeyman. And, they knew the scary guy. They knew the guy in the mask. They didn't know the guy who's going to show up as this Romeo pimp that's going to finesse you and tell you all these great things. So some of the things that I tell parents and teachers to watch out for is watch out for new expensive things that are not explainable. Why does your 15-year-old have a new iPhone, $1,000 phone, and they don't have a job? Look at how all of a sudden they're losing their friends. Well, Sally's been her friend since second grade. Now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you don't see Sally anymore. More secretive things. The things that I try to tell parents is, first and foremost, listen to your children, no matter what age they are, on mute. And when I say listen to them on mute, you're not going to always agree with them. But you want to be able to keep those lines of communication open. One of the best things I would say, to my advantage, the fact that my daughter has went from a victim to a survivor now, is that we have been able to communicate. Trust me when I tell you, I've heard some things that I would never want to, that I wish I could unhear. But the fact that she was able to talk to me and keep those lines of communications open, we were able to get her saved, rehabilitated, and back into society where she belongs.
Once you are trafficked, do you run the risk of any sort of relapse?
Absolutely.
And how have you all worked with your daughter? How have you supported her to keep her from relapsing?
It's a long, treacherous battle. And it's not something that it's a one and done or a silver bullet. One of the things that I would say that I'm grateful for is that I continue to show up for her. and continued to love on her. So whether I saw her 3 times in a year or 3 times in a week, when she called me, I was there for her. And people asked me, why do you keep showing up for her and she's going back outside? And I said, because I don't ever want that one time I don't answer her call to be the last time I ever hear her voice. So if she needed to come home for a while, I let her come home, and the light is always open. So for us, it was constant and continuous communication. It was continuous love, because she said some things that I would say I've gotten some scathing emails from her, because of course I raised her right. So she knows not to say some things to her mommy, but I will tell you, I got a few scathing emails and a few scathing text messages. And I knew that she was coming from a place of hurt and of trauma, not from her true intentions. So to, circle back to your question of how do we keep her from relapsing, we show up. We talk about it. We understand that, hey, this is something that happened to you, but this is not who you are. I've done all that I can do to help support her. I'm happy to say she went from being outside, so to speak, to, now she doesn't have a criminal record. She hasn't been to jail in well over a year for solicitation or anything. She's holding down a job. She's opened a bank account, bought a car, things that she's done for the first time in over 10 years. So things you and I take for granted are things that she's accomplished, and I'm extremely, extremely proud of her for it.
We've talked a lot about your daughter. I want to talk a little bit more about you. I would imagine I cannot imagine what it is like to be the parent of a child. She was a young adult at the time, but she is always going to be your baby girl. Being trafficked, I can't imagine what that experience is like. Was there ever any shame that you experienced as her mother, especially as you learned some of the details of what was happening? Was there ever any shame that you felt? And talk to us about how you may have processed that shame, or even other members of your family. How have they been able to process that shame in order to show up? Because for a lot of folks out there, it's hard to let go of the shame, in order to be able to show up and be a part of the intervention.
I never felt shame. What I did feel was like a failure. I did feel like I disappointed her. I felt like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? And it impacted me tremendously, because I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I've motivated people all over the world. And I'm logging into Facebook and I'm seeing, people in India, hey, can you come here and do a book signing? I would love for you to come and do a talk over here and there. And I had nothing to give them, because it's like, how can I motivate you? And I can't save my daughter. And, I just could not. When I tell you, I went from posting 3 to 4 times a day, writing books, hosting lives, to just completely nothing. And it was because in a lot of regards, it felt heavy. It felt like I was a fraud. It was like I didn't have the words, because I am mourning, for lack of a better term, for my daughter. But then to make her situation even more unique, she has a daughter by her trafficker that I've been raising since she was 6 months old. So I was literally caught in between doing what was best for my daughter and doing what's best for my granddaughter. So that's such a unique situation that even when I talk to people in the agencies, they were like, we've never seen this. Like, we don't know what to tell you. So it was a lot of, I won't say shame, more so than it was, what did I do wrong? I failed my daughter, because why didn't I equip you with what you needed to be more resilient, and not fall prey to this trafficker.
Let me tell you, I've talked to a lot of human rights activists over the years, some of which include folks who are anti-trafficking activists.
Mhm.
I have never heard a story like this. I've never heard
one
a story
has.
like this.
No one
And the level, there's levels to this, right? It's not just sort of, fighting for your daughter, but take us to the moment where you learned that you had a granddaughter who was tied to your daughter's trafficker.
Well, of course, I've met the man probably once or twice. She was pregnant, there was nothing, I would say, glaring about him that says, okay, he's, victimizing her, he's mistreating her. Was he what I would have picked for her? Absolutely not. But what parent is really like, yeah, this is the one? Our bars are set pretty high for our children. And so I knew that this was her child. I knew that this child was by him and everything. But what happened is when my granddaughter was 6 months, my daughter came, fled the situation, came to stay with me, and she said she was going to go visit a friend. And, okay, no problem. 2 days later, I received a voicemail, or actually an email that said she wasn't coming back, and that she thought her daughter was the best, being with me was the best place for her. So I went several months without talking to her, knowing whether my daughter was dead or alive. The pandemic, I will say, was probably the most horrific year I ever, endured, because I didn't know whether she was dead or alive. The world was shut down, hadn't talked to her, hadn't seen her, didn't know how to get a hold of her. So I became, this sleuth on Google, and I just typing in things, found out way more than I wanted to. But at least I had proof of life. Okay, this was the last time she posted on this site, or she was arrested this day or whatever, and this arrest was 3 weeks ago or what have you. So I was able to see this proof of life, and then to be able to still shield my granddaughter from everything that was going on, knowing that this is mommy, knowing you love mommy, and teaching her that. And she may have at one point would only see her a few times a year at best.
DeAndrea, I'm going to ask you to stay with us just a little while longer. When we come forward, I want to connect this story to your work as a certified confidence coach. It's not lost on me that being an anti-trafficking activist and fighting for your daughter who was trafficked, and showing up for your granddaughter who is the daughter of the man who trafficked her. That's hard stuff. That would cause any of us to take a hit to our confidence. And so when we come forward, I want to learn about how these experiences have shaped how you show up in the world as a certified confidence coach. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward with DeAndrea Cantrese, the founder of Unmute the Silence.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement. Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PATH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PATH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PATH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PATH25.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cow Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and I have been really intrigued by this entire conversation with DeAndrea Cantrice. She's the founder of Unmute the Silence. She is an anti-human trafficking activist who fought very hard to save her daughter, who is a survivor of human trafficking. She is a grandmother who is very active in the life of her granddaughter. And in our remaining minutes, DeAndrea, I want to give you a chance to talk about how these experiences have fueled your work as a certified confidence coach. For people who are less familiar, what does a confidence coach do? Like, and how's a confidence coach different from a life coach or an executive coach? Talk to the people.
Well, basically, I am a life coach that focuses on confidence. So my job is to show up and help people learn to own their voice, to set boundaries, to be able to not shrink, to stand up for what they believe in rooms that normally wouldn't accept them. So my target audience is not only women, but first generation professionals. If you've entered the professional world as a first generation, no one ever gave us the political power, the know-how or whatever. We were taught, go in, do a job, keep your head down, you'll climb the corporate ladder, when in fact it isn't. We keep our head down and we're stepped over for promotions and merit, and we're not getting the public praise that we're entitled to. So as a confidence coach, I work with individuals to help them restore their confidence in a way that opens them up to receive the life that they desire, especially in the workplace.
DeAndre, in our remaining minutes, I want to give you the chance to share any sort of call to action to our leaders, learners, and listeners. I mentioned earlier you're the founder of Unmute the Silence. It's an advocacy and awareness initiative. It's a new year, which means there are new opportunities for us to pull up. And so tell the people, how can we support the work of Unmute the Silence? Where can we tap in?
Definitely, you can visit my website, unmutethesilence.com, .org, or you can visit my website, deandrea.com, and you can book me as a speaker. You can make donations to your local charities that specify impact for trafficking victims. Educate yourself. And most importantly, it's important that you get out and vote. We always want to show up for the national elections, but it's imperative that we show up for our local elections, because you have things that are being brought to the forefront, like expunging records of trafficking victims, about changing the laws to protect survivors, and things like that. And never, ever hesitate. If you see something, say something. Whether it's calling the human trafficking hotline, whether it's just, hey, something's going on that I don't know what I'm looking at, but hey, it just looks a little weird. So I would say, if I had to leave your listeners and learners and leaders with something, it would be aware. Know what trafficking looks like. Stay away from the myths. Stay away from the urban legends. If you see a car seat on the side of the road, that has absolutely nothing to do with human trafficking. Maybe another crime, but it's not human trafficking. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say you have given us a mighty list of things to pay attention to, and a mighty list of ways to tap in. Our thanks to you for being so generous about the details related to your story, your lived experience. God bless you. God bless your daughter, a survivor of human trafficking, and your granddaughter. I want to encourage everybody to go to unmutethesilence.org to learn more and tap into DeAndrea Cantrese's work. We're going to have to leave it here. My thanks to the entire village that helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, brother Andy, to our show producers, Faraji, Art, and Journey, and each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners. Remember, do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Dropped the case against the superintendent. Elena Moreno has been sworn in as the 63rd mayor of New Orleans, telling supporters the city is at a turning point and that